Well, good morning. This is Tech Sergeant T once again. I was just thinking about some activities that I participated in uh, when I was, still in school as a kid, and one of them was scouting. The LDS, the Mormon Church, used to be big uh, affiliates, I guess you would say, of the scouting program. I think they said like 20% of all members of the Boy Scouts are members of the Mormon Church. But they kind of parted ways in late 2019. I started thinking about it, how much time I'd spent with it as a youngster. I started out, at 8 as a Cub Scout. I went through all the Cub Scouting, Webelos and Order of the Arrow and all those things, and then into Boy Scouting at 12, and went all the way up through Life Scout, which is just under Eagle, and then even Explorer Scouting up until I was 16. Then I got interested in girls. Other activities, I went Civil Air Patrol, like I was saying before, and so I kind of, changed pursuits, changed interests, and then of course went right into the Air Force out of high school. Something about a uniform, I guess. I liked wearing uniforms, but it was pretty good. It really was. I was even a scoutmaster when I got a little bit older, which reminds me of a story. I don't know where I'm going with this video, so we'll see. But a fellow was, unfortunately, he was dying of cancer. His doctor gave him only about a year to live. And he said, "Doctor," he says, "isn't there anything I can do?" And the doctor said, "No, there's no treatments." He said, "What about some of these more dubious treatments?" I said, "I'm willing to try those." He said, I really want to live." He said, "No, there's nothing I can think of." He says, "I'm a rich man." He says, "Anything, anywhere in the world." He says, "Let me know." He says, "I can try it." Finally, a doctor told him, he says, "Well," he said, "you move to Utah, join the Mormon Church, and become a scout master." And he said, "Oh, well, then I'll live longer than a year." And he said, "No, but it'll be the longest year of your life." So, and to a certain extent, that was true. It was a tough job. We had a safety meeting once, and one of the guys in our group was quite creative, and he came up with a safety topic, and it's how to kill your kids and dogs in Utah. We had a bad habit here of letting kids and dogs ride in the back of our pickup trucks for a long time, which could be a very dangerous thing. Even witnessed an accident once where the pickup truck got a wreck with a bunch of kids in the back, threw them all over the highway. Fortunately, no one was seriously hurt, but man, I'd seen a couple of incidences like that where even my youngest son was on a canoeing trip on the Colorado River, and it got way beyond their skill. The river was a lot faster. The confluence was really rough, and they ended up spending the night on a sandbar, getting eaten by mosquitoes, and so it was a pretty bad trip. That was his conclusion of his speech: is if nothing else works, let your kids join the Boy Scouts. So we'd had more than a few serious accidents and even some fatalities among Boy Scout troops around here. So it's kind of scary. But here a few years back, they were looking for merit badge counselors, and so I looked into that and realized that I was outdated. So, I was thinking of the old merit badges, archery and marksmanship, and a lot of the animal husbandry. As a matter of fact, I looked up some of the older merit badges that are no longer active, and they were more about self-sustain activities, things that would help you, stay alive. I guess you would say they did a lot with like agriculture, uh, animal industry. Now they did have atomic energy. That's probably changed. Um, Automotive safety, but that's still a good one. Beef production, beekeeping, even bookbinding and botany and things like that. We had citizenship in the home, which now has become citizenship in the community, in the country, and in the world. Um, so it's more global, shall we say. Computers, probably early ones. Corn farming, cotton farming, some very specific things. They did dairying, um, how to keep farm records. Let's see what else we have here. Forage crops, fruit and nut growing, hog production. Now that'd be an important one. Indian lore, which they still have. They changed the name, but they still have it. Um, Insect life, landscaping, a rifle and shotgun shooting, seamanship. And I found this one interesting. They've got one called stalking. Not a very, that's a term with some negative connotation nowadays. It's been changed to tracking, which is probably a lot better. Um, Today, this list is pretty good, and I can see where it would be more appropriate, more applicable today. AI is one. Composite materials. I worked for a while at Hercules Aerospace, and that was one of their big products was composite materials. It's used a lot now in manufacturing, cars, airplanes, spaceships, everything. Digital technology, cybersecurity. Those are all more appropriate for today's world. Programming, robotics, things like that. But some they still do have that I could probably help out with. Swimming. I'm a pretty good swimmer and diver. Signs, signals, and codes. I was in the NSA for a while, so I know a little bit about those. Sculpture, life-saving art. I studied fine art at the University of Utah. Some of those things, but it's really a big change in the world. In a time when we were all looking towards self-sustaining activities, things that were more agricultural oriented, to today's world, which is definitely a digital world, things that more applicable for careers. So the program is adapted and adopted those pursuits for today's world. It's still a good program. I know they've had some issues. There were some problems with, they changed it from the Boy Scouts to Scouting because it's trying to be more inclusive, as they say, across the board. And had some problems with, I guess there was a little bit of issue with some of the abuse on the part of some of the Scout leaders. And that's really sad because it's always been, I think, a good program. It builds character, it builds skills, and especially, we used to go to the camp. Those are always fun. We used to go to a week-long camp. Then you had camping weekends, even winter camps during the school year. Learn how to, take care of yourself in the snow. Some good survival skills there. So it's a good program. And it's very helpful, and I contribute a lot of my, I won't say character, but certainly my goals, and a lot of trying to do the right thing. The Scout motto and the Scout slogan, always to be helpful. What was it? Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Can you believe that? After all these years, still remember that. Be prepared. That is another good one. And it's true. Those kind of skills help you not only in your life, but to help others in their lives, which is important, and to be a good citizen and be a participant for positive in your community and in your country. And as the scouting program has grown, it'd be more, I think, international. If Mr. Powell saw today what it would become, he'd probably be pleased with it. But it's been around 1911, I think they said they started. So it's been around a long time. So if you need, an opportunity to improve yourself, improve your children, that might be a good program to look into. Well, have a good day, everybody, and I hope this was a little informative about how things have changed. A consistent program, but certainly their emphasis has changed over the years. We'll talk to you later.